Smoking dank Sinatra, that's all gas. On the hunt in a tall grass. Intercepting every ball pass, then I run it back, that's a TD. Check the scoreboard, y'all last. We up one, you see me. Pussy niggas wanna talk about it, go to Hellcat, no demon. I be politicking on your broadcast at the red carpet like the famous homie. Ask your bitch, really famous homie, and you know it's in me. It ain't on me. So creative like I made Adobe. I've been balling like I played with Kobe.
What's the deal? What's the deal? PolitiKan the podcast. We back Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we got to get to this week's topics, man. First off, we got to get to the James Harden trade, man. With James Harden traded to the Clippers, it finally went through. What does that mean for the Western Conference? Does that make the Clippers a true contender? And we got to get to the other flip side of that. Tyrese Maxey was named Eastern Conference Player of the Week with James Harden out. He is now the focal point to pair up with Joel Embiid. Can he be a superstar? The Raiders have seen enough, and they have finally fired Josh McDaniels. So we have Josh McDaniels being fired as the Raiders head coach. Then we have the U.S. attorneys there looking into the NBA for tampering, for urging sponsors not to mess with Ice Cube in the Big Three League. So we got to touch on that. And then we have Vice President Pence dropping out the presidential candidacy for the presidential election 2024. I'm going to bring in the homies, man. We going to chop it up. What's the deal?
What's up? What's going on?
Shit, man. So the world has shook up again in the NBA because we have had another blockbuster trade this year with James Harden being traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. The Clippers get James Harden and PJ Tucker. They gave up Nick Batum, Robert Covington, and who else? Marcus Morris, and some first-round picks. So Marcus Morris was no longer in the rotation. Covington really wasn't in the rotation. And Nick Batum, I think that we got an upgrade right there. So what's y'all thoughts on this trade? And what do y'all think about the addition of James Harden to the Clippers?
Yeah, it looks good on paper. We will see. Listen, man, again, this is James Harden who we're talking about here. Not only has this guy forced his way out of 3 teams within the last 2 years, 4 teams total the last 2 years that he's been on. But this guy also doesn't show up in the playoffs. Now, if everybody's healthy, he won't need to really show up in the playoffs because you have Kawhi, PG, and then Russell Westbrook as well. And so he won't need to do too much. But again, we'll see. It looks nice. I'm not going to sit here and say that, if all these guys are healthy come playoff time, they're not going to make some noise. They definitely could. But you still have some viable contenders, specifically in the Western Conference, still with Denver out there, still with the Lakers out there, still with Phoenix out there once they get healthy. The Warriors, there's still plenty of teams in the Western Conference that'll give the Clippers a run. But the main thing with the Clippers is health. And this all boils down to James Harden at this point. You forced your way out. You wanted to be back in LA. The Clippers, picked you up. They said, hey, let's go. And then everybody is pretty much, this is it. Like, James Harden, you got to make this work because everybody's pretty much saying around the league, you're not going to be able to be on another team. Like, this is the final stop. And so it's all on him. It's all on him. Again, we will see. Looks cool. Looks nice. Looks cute. But we'll see.
Yeah, pretty much. I agree with Amrock. I think it's a 50-50 trade. I see the benefits of how it can benefit the Clippers. I see how it can hurt the Clippers because it's James Harden. Do I think it moves the needle? I think it's more interesting than anything because I think currently how they were constructed, I think the Clippers were fine personally. I don't think it was a necessary need to do it. I'm not so moved by the record being it's only been 4 games, and they really haven't played anybody. Their next games next week when they play, you'll get to see more challenging teams play them. But I don't think it's bad. I think it's the good part of it is because you have 2 superstars who sometimes don't remain healthy. You can now rotate that off the bench because you're going to have Westbrook's going to be there and playing with Harden. That's going to be interesting because you can have those 2 Harden starts. This is a hypothetical I'm throwing out here. Like you said, let's say hypothetically, Russ and Harden come off the bench, Kawhi and PG are resting. That's a lineup that it's just a tough lineup. So, so it's not bad. That's why I say I agree with Emrock. You just got to see how it looks because I'm not really moved by nobody's record right now with them being 4 games because Denver is supposed to be what Denver does. They're the champs. I've always been a more person after the holidays to see where the NBA is at least the first 20 games, even that sometimes to give you an idea where everybody stands. But I don't think it's necessarily a great trade, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad trade. Am I impressed? I'm not really impressed. I think to me, really, if I had to pick, it's an unnecessary trade. I don't think they needed to. I see why they made the move, but I don't think they needed to make the move. But at the end of the day, I want to see how it affects them defensively. And because if I was just going to go off of the 4 games, I feel like PG locked in, a little bit focused. But I'm really more impressed with who I'm really impressed with is Kevin Durant. Like I feel like we ain't really seen, him coming back from injury. And the reason I'm tying that in is to be like, without these guys, Kevin Durant and Phoenix, there's a lot of things like Amrock said, when they come back together, you got to see, or when they're together on the floor, see how they look. But Kevin Durant looking locked in. Like KD looking like that shit looks scary. Like when you look at where we ain't seen KD, and now please correct me if I'm wrong. I ain't seen KD like that in a minute, but KD has been like since he been on go time. So I'm really interested to see next week the Clippers schedule. And then start seeing some of these teams start to play each other to see where we're really at. But we'll see how it looks.
What's the deal, Eugene?
What's going on, fellas? How you doing? Apologies for the late incoming, man. I had to put my baby to sleep.
Yes, sir. But we talking about the James Harden trade. What effect does that have on the Western Conference? Does that make the Clippers a contender? Well, why are you laughing? What's so funny?
Because
why y'all laughing, man? Ain't nothing funny.
I pretty much second what everybody said. Yeah, they didn't move a needle for me. Like they didn't move at all. Having James Harden, having someone who isn't reliable in the playoffs, isn't reliable as a teammate if he gets frustrated. Can play can still play at a all-star level. I think I have a issue with him somehow after that whole unable to jump into your man foul. When did they implement that? Like 3 or 4 years ago?
That's the Kobe foul, though. That's the Kobe thing, though.
They didn't really implement it until it was like 3 or 4 years ago because James Harden utilized it his majority of his time as the Rockets. That's why he was able to become a scoring champion. I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole, but
he abused it.
He abused the shit out of it
because he did this double step back, and then he would pump fake you. And after he did his double step back, you would jump in the air, and he would jump into you and get the foul.
And the hook in the arm.
It was easy. It was easy money.
Yeah, and see that's what's able to make you the scoring champion for the time that he was like he was getting fat. Like who remembers the game where LeBron actually got a technical for putting his arms behind his back while he was guarding James Harden?
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
You remember that?
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, good thing. Yeah, I'm like, yo, hold on. So no. So having said all that, no, James Harden does not move a needle for me. If James Harden were to play like James Harden of Oklahoma, then maybe we talking.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we don't since that rule is in the game now. He's just going to be dribble, pass off, occasional. I might give you 26 depending on the defender who's on me. But if you have like someone to like maybe a mid-level to an okay defender, he's gonna give you 12 points and about six assists. So no, doesn't move a needle. I actually think it messes it up for Russell Westbrook. Russ was
Kawhi. I think Kawhi too.
Yeah, Kawhi too. Yeah, definitely Kawhi too. They're definitely Russell for sure because James Harden has kind of turned himself into what Russell Westbrook has molded himself into in the last 2 years, especially with the Clippers. The pass first, the assist guy, the defensive guy, the rebound guy, even at his age. And I think that's definitely going to mess it up for Russell Westbrook. And they lost a lot of defense. So, yeah, there's that.
Now, one thing that was intentional is that they had to find somebody late in the game to handle the ball because Paul George proven that he couldn't do it. And we went for Malcolm Brogdon, but then that trade fell through. Then we went for Drew Holiday, and then that trade fell through. And then we tried to get Damian Lillard, and then that trade fell through. The whole time we've been looking for a ball handler to be in at the last 2 minutes because we cannot trust Russell Westbrook in the game in those moments because you just seen what he did the other day in Utah when he gets the rebound and he just throws up that brick in the last second and Kawhi falling out on the floor like, what is going on?
Hey, I can't believe he actually shot that. That was kind of funny. I ain't gonna front you. That was kind of funny.
He didn't even look up. He got the rebound, just ran with the rock.
My man just threw it.
That's gonna rest. That's gonna rest. But that's where it's crazy to me though. Like I think is because that's why I say I don't. It's. I think like everybody's like see how it looks. Like I told you, I'm rooting for little brother. I want to see y'all actually do something. But like my thing is when it comes to the Clippers, I'm really interested to see how. I guess even what Eugene said, going back to the Russell Westbrook situation, I guess when you really put it like that, how this affects Russ, because as a Laker fan, oh man, we got brutalized for how Russ was treated. And I get it, a lot of it wasn't fair. Let me just throw that out there. But the other side of this is like, you know how you be on the internet and be like, there'll be the memes of like, how does this impact LeBron's future? And it's like that should be funny as heck when you see it. That's what I'm thinking about Westbrook. Like, how does this look for Westbrook? Now, when Eugene says it, because I said Kawhi, but I'm really thinking like, nah, like really, how does Russ look with this? Because he's just gonna be stuck on the bench.
I mean, it's already proven that Russ can't come off the bench. Y'all already tried that in LA with the Lakers, and that didn't work. It was a disaster. So Russ has to keep being exactly who he is right now. He needs to start the first quarter. He needs to go into the heavy minutes with the backups. And in the last 5 minutes of the game, he needs to sit his ass down, cheer for his teammates, and wait for the next game.
You said wait for the next game. That's wild.
The only person I'm rooting for in this situation is Russell Westbrook. He deserves a championship. He plays his ass off every game, plays almost every game, doesn't complain as he's getting traded. He just goes and still balls wherever he's gone. He hasn't complained one bit, unlike some people in this equation.
Man,
that's real.
Kyrie couldn't even come to the Lakers, but James Harden got the stimulus.
Right.
Man.
That nigga just went out there and just made a bold ass bogus claim. Daryl Morey is a liar. Like,
hey, it wasn't bogus though because he didn't play in none of the preseason games and he didn't play in none of the regular season games.
What grown
so
man?
Technically, he never played again for Daryl Morey's
this dude
team.
Has got past.
He said it and it happened.
He went
to the destination
$500,000. He damn near got this nigga $500,000, and you'll say he's a liar for one mess up? One?
Hey, man.
I could tell you right now, as a Raiders fan, James Harden got more passes than Tay Adams. I'm telling you right now. Like that's what I'm telling you. Because James
All
Harden.
right, so we gotta get to the next topic, which is the flip side of this, man. So Tyrese Maxey, who was recently named Eastern Conference Player of the Week, with James Harden out of there with the MVP, Joel Embiid, and the pressure all on him to become that next guy. Can Tyrese Maxey become an NBA superstar? He reminds me of a kind of like a Donovan Mitchell, how Donovan Mitchell emerged. Can he do that and be the next superstar in the league, paired up with Joel Embiid, and contend on the East for a championship? Or is they just putting all this hype on him because they had to get rid of James Harden? What's your thoughts?
I owe him an apology. I owe Maxey an apology. I'm gonna tell y'all, I did not think Tyrese Maxey. I'm not gonna say he wasn't good, but he was like a newer player. I wasn't familiar with him. But that game where Dame's first game in Milwaukee where they played each other, and I saw Maxey, I watched it. I was like, yo, he built different. So I think I'm excited for him. I don't know if he's eligible for most improved because he's obviously been doing it, but he should get it. Like, I mean, at this point, let the young man run with it and do whatever it takes to keep Joel Embiid there, because I like Tyrese Maxey. I think it's rare sometimes you get to see a hooper, and he's just that. Like, I like him. He a bucket, man. He's really a bucket.
Yeah, I have to agree with Devontae. I watched that first game as well and immediately thought, for one, the Sixers don't need James Harden. They actually competed with Milwaukee that game. Kelly Oubre got buckets. Of course, Maxey and B were balling. But, I mean, he's already been, named as one of those guys who's part of that group that's next up, showing what he can do. Certainly, he's the number 2 now officially to Embiid. And he's going to have that, chance to prove himself this year, clearly. And he's playing for a new contract as well. So he's going to ball out and try to, get his stock up, as they say. But yeah, I mean, this guy's 7th in the league right now in scoring, 30 a game. And so that's pretty impressive. I mean, even though it's a short sample, if he keeps this up, they could be that 3rd, 4th team in the Eastern Conference, as we still all project them to be. But yeah, I watched that first game and thought, yeah, they don't need James Harden. They can play like this with the guys that they have, and now getting Morris, a Covington, Batum if healthy can shoot threes. Morris will give you that muscle down low. Same with Covington, and you get future picks as well. If Maxey balls out, this might have Embiid say, okay, well, let me stay. Let me see what, picks, how these picks turn out as well. Maybe we get some young future talent as well to go with me and Maxey, and we ride this thing out. Maybe get a couple veteran players. But yeah, I think, he's definitely been balling out, and he's one of the, people that's next up.
You think and like I Tyrese Maxey, he's a beast, bro. Yeah, I didn't think they ever, in my opinion, they ever really needed James Harden because they had Maxey. He's a beast. He's nice, and he's always kind of shown that. Just real quick, just like based on because I think we all kind of agree on Tyrese Maxey, right?
Yeah.
So have y'all seen there's like a certain new player that's being developed in like the type of Tyrese Maxey? Because like you have like him, you have like Terrence Mann, you have Anthony Edwards, you have Amino Dosunmu, and I'm saying like these guys have all, and I'm saying it because they all have like similar game. Have you guys noticed that?
I'm not familiar with Terrence Mann. I haven't watched enough of him yet. That's the only one I haven't really watched enough of. I heard he's nice though.
Bro, yeah, he reminds me. Like I said, the 4 players I named, like of Anthony Edwards, to me being kind of like the number 1 of the 4. They all kind of have like this very good ball handling, large size, 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" build. able to create their own shot, able to like have long hands. You know what I'm saying? Able to defend very well, like almost like hybrid two-way players.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Like these guys are like these guys are like really like in my opinion, like the ones who are like about to kind of take over the league in so to speak, because the way that the league is now and the way that like the hybrid player is developing, man, you're starting to see like superstars like from defense. You know what I'm saying? You feel me?
Yeah, no, yeah, that's a really good point but I think it's when me and my homeboys was talking about just the league in general, like this is the first year in a while it's just competitive. Like there's like, you finally get that, and I think it leads with these. I feel like every time the league comes around, and this ain't taking nothing away by saying this because I think Bron is still that dude, but I feel like the league has a way of shaping onto its person's identity, and I feel like not taking away from Jokic, I feel like it's Giannis, and the reason I say that is because Giannis he's always been that type of that person who just I want to compete with everybody. Mm-hmm. And when Bron, as he's going to tell end of his career, the greatest has been, it was more of a just kind of that player empowerment league, and now it's getting to this where it's more like how you saying just that two-way that they like everybody's a dog one. And I'm gonna go back to Tyrese again because that first game, that was like I said, that first game against Milwaukee when I watched him, not only was he like coming at Dame Lillard, he like, oh, you want to come out east? Well, this is what you got to deal with. And it was a dog. Same thing how Anthony Edwards is, same way that you're seeing. And I think as a fan, I love that. I love the competitiveness of it. I love to see it from that standpoint, and I love to see two-way players because I think a lot of it defense can like. I'm a person like Westbrook had a good block the other day, like on Pablo, I think it was, and Carol. It looked like a foul at the tail end of it, but he caught him like real good. So I think to your point though, you see these new players come up and a lot of hybrid players where they can play. I'm gonna use Draymond as probably a better example. Matter of fact, the best example of it, the Atlanta got one. They got this dude, I think Johnson is his last name. This kid, and he like 6'7". And like kid's a stud, man. Like that dude just like he played both sides of the ball. Like he ain't like Ant or Tyrese where he got the handles, but like, yeah, I get Eugene. That's a good point because like, yeah, these new players coming in, they just like that just dogs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're just seeing the next new wave. I mean, this happens in the league. Like, hey, when it was 03 and LeBron and Carmelo and all of them were coming in, we had already had Kobe and Shaq and Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett and Allen Iverson and Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter and Jason Kidd. And we had all these guys already, right? And so, and that's how it is now, right? We already still have the LeBrons, the KDs, the Stephs, the Kawhis out there, and now we have this new surgeon of these new guys, and so and to your point, Eugene, like there's he falls in that group of guys. There's like basically three prototypes of players at this point. Shoot like Steph, you're gonna be tall and whimsy like how Giannis was when he came in, built, but now you see that with Victor Wembanyama. And Chet Holmgren from Oklahoma City. And then you have that Anthony Edwards type of player as well, like that, how D Wade was in a sense, right? That two-way type of guard or Kobe Bean Bryant. And so, it's that's where we are in the league at this point. And, again, we're just seeing that next wave. These are going to be the guys for the next 10 to 15 years that we're going to be blessed to see, as we saw the LeBrons, the Carmelos, and all those guys throughout their careers.
You see, like the focus on like, and I mentioned those dudes because like I think like for them, the scoring, like they love the score, but like defense seems to be more on their mind, like how they like to they seem to want to control the game more through that way than have to dictate it through offense.
Mhm.
With those type of players. Like you have like your Jimmy Butlers and you have your Giannis's. Obviously two different spectrums, but like as far as like where they play, but their hard nose is defense.
Yeah.
Is so, but now you got like a bunch of little Giannis's between like 6 foot and 6'8" who can shoot that three, who can wet that mid range, and then also guard a Steph Curry, guard a Dame Lillard, guard a Kyrie Irving from half court. So and I'm seeing way more of that. Like these dudes are built. You know what I'm saying? Like damn, dude. Like how are these like new like these new generations of athletes in the NBA, man? Like they're wildly crazy.
And it's crazy because you look at people like Trae Young. I think Trae Young is like the last of a dying breed.
Yo, man, he's a dinosaur, bro.
Ain't no more Trae Youngs getting into the league no time soon. You know what I'm saying? And Trae Young, it was a lot of doubts on him. In Atlanta, they went to that Eastern Conference Finals, and everybody was like, "Oh, he panned out." But since then, it's been real quiet over there in Atlanta. So
DeJounte Murray, though, that's why they got DeJounte Murray.
But he a dog too, though. He like you know what I'm saying.
He's in that whole two-way situation. He a dog. He's big. He's lanky. He plays defense. He's a great offensive player. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I say about the league is, to me, the league is too fast.
Yeah.
They just go too, like, I understand, offense sells tickets, defense wins. We know this, right? And it slows down in the playoffs. I just think it's just, man, like these guys just bucket, throw it up, rebound, damn, throw a three up, run. Like, damn, like, can we see who's actually out there and doing something, who has fundamental skills? Like, it's that should just be too fast for me, yo. And like it we could talk about, Steph changing the game and all that, but it really didn't start hitting me like that until probably after the Bucks won. So like these last 2 years, it's just really become like extra, like we gotta zoom up and down the court, man. That shit's crazy. I just wanted to point that out.
No, I agree. I agree, bro.
It'd be 98 points in the third quarter.
Right.
Yeah. With 7 minutes left.
Like,
they scoring 140, 150s. You only used to see those in like triple overtime. You seen that in the regular game.
That's crazy.
Man, yeah, he never lied.
Crazy.
They shooting 63s a game. That's ridiculous. Teams are averaging 60. The players is out there shooting 8-3. Darvin Ham said he want Anthony Davis to go out there and shoot at least 6 threes a game.
Yeah.
6 threes a game.
Anthony Davis shooting 6 threes a game?
He needs to play 6 consistent games.
But yeah, to shoot 6 threes a game as a he's what do y'all consider him? Like he doesn't like to play center, even though he's a power forward. 7
He's
foot.
A stretch 4.
He is stretch 4.
Yeah,
but he likes to dribble the ball. He likes to play like a point guard. Like what the hell is that?
But then they put him at center, and then they on offense they do that 5-out shit and run the pick and roll with him and LeBron,
which is terrible.
Terrible.
Stop it.
And on defense they run that 1-3-1 and just put him in the middle of the defense and let him float and run.
Just stop it. The Lakers don't. I love my Lakers. I love my Lakers. Get a center, put AD back at the 5. Boogie Cousins, I don't care. Boogie on one leg. I don't care who it is. Just get a center, put AD at the 5. I don't care what it. Just stop it. Like, stop trying to do this hybrid. They ain't gonna win that way. It ain't even that. It's just you're not going to win that way. Every time they do it, every time I see the lineup and it's Anthony Davis at center, guarding Jokic, I was like, we're not winning. Like, we're not winning. Anthony Davis, as good as a defender as I like, he's always been he gets straight up, but he's better on that weak side. Just get a center.
He's definitely a way better help defender than he is an on-ball defender.
Bro, the fact that he can't shoot over Jokic, who actually doesn't even jump, is telling. Is very telling. Bro, you mean to tell me you can't dominate this big ass sloppy dude who won't even challenge you at the rim? You just don't know how to get around him. What the fuck is going on?
I was gonna throw this out here too. Back to the 3-point thing that we're talking about, how the league is moving so fast. With the stats here, since 4 games, we've only played like 4 or 5 games. Steph Curry has taken 12.8 3-point shots. Luka has taken 12.8 3-point shots. Max Strus has taken 10 shots. Larry Marklin has taken 9.8 3-point shots. Keegan Murray 9.7. Desmond Bain 9.3. Damian Lillard 9.3, and Chris LeVert 9.0, and then Tatum rounds it out, and CJ McCollum at 9.0 or 9 shots, 9 3-point attempts.
When I heard that, first thing I thought was, why the hell is short arm Desmond Bain shooting damn near 10 threes a game? What the hell is going on with?
Bro, that's what he's known for.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's known for. He's a shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Man, so kill it. That ain't gonna work. They need to figure something else out. Let's get to this NFL topic, man. So we all know the Raiders suck once again, and they have fired their coach. He should have been fired like the first year that he got hired, but they tried to stick with it and give him a chance. He finally got David Carr out of there. He kept blaming it on David Carr. So they finally got rid of David Carr and brought in the quarterback of his choice, which was none other than his former quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. So he brought in his hand-picked quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, his former quarterback from the Patriots. And Jimmy Garoppolo ends up injured, and then he ends up sucking. And now Jimmy Garoppolo is now being benched, and Josh McDaniels and the general manager have been both fired this morning. What's your thoughts on the Raiders getting rid of Josh McDaniels?
And then again. Look, man, y'all went from a low-key racist coach to a coach who was only successful with the greatest quarterback of all time. So yeah, Josh McDaniels needed to be fired, bro. The fact that you let go of Derek Carr, and you had a saying like letting him go is wild as fuck. And the GM was like, yeah, let's let him go, and let's go get Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's go get Jimmy Garoppolo. Anybody who watches football, who isn't just a stats guy, who isn't just like somebody who like, well, he's been to the AFC Championship twice. Oh, he's been to a Super Bowl. Anybody who's not that type of person understands how bad Jimmy is and how good the team that he was surrounded around was in the 49ers. That Niners team, that Niners defense has been great for fucking 15 damn years. They've been a top 5, top 7 defense in the last 10 years. Top 5, top 2 defense in the last 4 years. Bro, anybody can go out there. Well, nowadays, anybody can go out there and be a quarterback. So, picking that shitty guy who barely threw for 200 yards in his career. He's been in the league almost 10 years? Almost 10 years? Am I close?
Mm-hmm. Too long.
Yeah. And who's managed to have more fumbles than touchdowns, especially this year, and who is injury prone. You're injury prone and you suck. You're in the bottom 25 of quarterbacks. Nah,
but the funny thing about the injury thing is that when they signed him, he couldn't pass the physical. So they had a waiver. They had a waiver saying that if he get injured, then they owe him no money. And then he came out, he passed the physical, he healed, He showed flashes in preseason, and they dropped the waiver and signed this dude to the full contract where they owe him the whole money. And then he went out there and got injured right after that. And then he just came back from injury just to blow it all and suck right now.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is more about interim head coach Antonio Pierce now. A black man getting an opportunity. Hopefully, this doesn't turn into a situation I went brain dead. I forgot the team, but it was a team last year that went through it. Had the interim black head coach actually did a good job. Or was that maybe I'm thinking about the Raiders the first time. Yeah, I am. I'm thinking about the Raiders before they picked up Josh McDaniels. And they had to get rid of John Gruden. But listen, man. Josh McDaniels has proven that he's not he's not head coach material. He's coordinator material. Some guys are what they are. I think he's going to realize that now and kind of stay out of the way. And not, take any interviews to be a head coach. I think he's just going to play the coordinator role and that can also be a successful role. There's plenty of guys who've been in the league for 30 plus, 40 plus years as a coordinator and been successful and made a living. And so I think he's probably going to come to that conclusion at this point. When you have the performance that the Raiders had, what was it, Monday night, and then, just the last 2 years, of course, obviously you wasn't expecting, Gruden to have some emails out there that came out to bust that up, because that was the plan for Vegas, right? Obviously you're moving to Vegas, you're going to have a plan. And John Gruden was the plan. He was going to be the guy and resurrect that team, and so the fact that that didn't happen, you bring in Josh McDaniels, okay, didn't work out. This is the time for Antonio Pierce to get a chance to show what he's made of, and potentially be a black head coach, specifically in Las Vegas for the Raiders. That would be very significant, and so we'll see. We'll see where they go from there. But your best players on the team aren't happy. Not just Devontae Adams, but Jacobs and Crosby as well. Just weren't happy. It was time.
Man, as a Raiders fan, I can't even celebrate this. And the reason I can't celebrate this, because to celebrate means I'm going to have hope. And I think Amrock gave me hope with what he said. Yeah, we got the coach, but that owner is going to find a way to mess this up. And I'll start from just a standpoint of it's a step in the right direction, but with this team, every time you want to get your hopes up, I feel like they've handled it wrong since they got rid of Derek Carr. And I know Derek Carr is not the answer to fix the problems, but as somebody who was really wanting to be there and was committed to the Raiders, they showed him no respect on the way that they allowed that coach to just kick him out the door. Mm-hmm. And so you get what you deserve, karma. And now with Jimmy G, who has more interceptions than touchdowns in this season, I just want to throw that out there. He's supposed to be benched. I want to believe the Raiders, but at this point, I expect to lose Josh Jacobs next year. I expect him to just leave or get traded. I don't expect him to be there. He'll be a Raven soon. If we, by some way, keep Tay Adams, that's great. I didn't expect us to win a Super Bowl, but I expected us to compete. And I'm hoping this is a direction to compete. And if it does look good, because we had it one year when we, like Amron said, after Gruden, we was okay. We were really okay. And it was oh, you just tweak these pieces. And they wanted to try to do the fake ass Patriots way. And I don't know what they were trying to do. That was the great value version of the Patriots. It's I don't know what they were trying to do, but that is the worst coach in the history of football. This man is supposed to be an offensive genius, but he is the worst coach in the history of the sport. Like that man does not like. I don't like to tell somebody you won't lose your job, but when I woke up after the trade deadline and I checked every day to see if this man was going to get fired, when you look at some of those games and he did not get fired, I was like, that's why I can't even be moved, because it took so long. Like, why did it take this long? Devontae Adams, like, it's not all on him, even though Tay had a couple of those passes that he did drop. So Tay got to take some ownership on a few of those passes. But other than that, you have a Hall of Famer who doesn't look like a Hall of Famer. And I don't know. The Raiders are going to be the Raiders. Like, I don't expect nothing of it. I want to have hope, but it's just like having hope in my Lakers right now. Every time I want to give more, every time I get my hopes up, it's just disappointment. So I'm just going to let it play itself out and then check on me after Thanksgiving. We'll see how I'm doing.
Well, speaking about your Lakers, I got the game on right here. The Lakers got 18. Kawhi got 18.
Oh,
that tells you how it's going so far.
The Lakers got 18.
Definitely
No, the Lakers got 18
situation.
championships. The Clippers got
every time.
Hey, you know what?
There's
only so much you can hang on to that conversation when you say that, man.
But
that's their go-to. It goes straight there.
I think forever. The Clippers only get up to play the Lakers. I don't expect the Lakers to win this game.
Let the Clippers get one. Just let the Clippers get one first before we.
Hopefully this year.
Hey, you know, as a Cowboy fan. As a Cowboy fan,
we
you know,
to see y'all on Sunday.
Let the Eagles get one. You know, let the Eagles get one, bro. The Eagles got one, and they all of a sudden act like they've been winning for the last 50 years. So I believe that's hilarious to me.
Hey, the Eagles was. I thought the Eagles had it. I know we talking about the Raiders, but once the Niners got Chase Young.
You got that.
Niners got Chase Young.
Cowboys talk about that.
We got to get Deebo Samuel back. We got to get Deebo Samuel back. But back to the NBA, man. So the NBA is under investigation from the U.S. Department of Justice for antitrust violations because they have been alleged that they were conspiring. Basically, blackballing the big three from getting any type of sponsorships because they don't want the league to succeed because the league was snatching up all the retired NBA players and giving them a continued career. So they basically was telling all the sponsors, hey, if you deal with them, you can't deal with us. And so essentially now they're being investigated for these allegations. What are y'all thoughts on the big three, man? Ice Cube League, man, being tampered by the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, Ice Cube's been dropping dimes that this has been happening. But he's actually, also stated that he wanted to partner up with the NBA initially. And so, but they're deeming the big three as a threat. A threat to whom? The NBA is the NBA. It's the National Basketball Association. They are known, worldwide. It's an international league. The big three, I think, just had their championship in London. I don't know if they did that before this past season. Just had a current NBA player play in the league in the All-Star game, Jaylen Brown of the Celtics. So yeah, they've been around for a few years now, and it's just starting to gain traction. But again, this is a league based on helping players who are out of the league, continue to play and potentially get a check. This is in no way, shape, or form a threat to the NBA. Again, he's come out and said he wants to, he would rather have it be like a partnership, the same way the NBA does with the G League or with the other sports, the other basketball league. I forgot where a lot of players this league were drafted out of. He wanted to kind of be like that, like, hey, those leagues are for the youth and young guys coming in. Our league could be for potentially, the guys, in their late 30s or early 40s, still trying to play or still doesn't have a chance to play in the league, and they come to the big three. But the NBA is, we all know why, because the NBA wants a piece of the big three, and Ice Cube's not giving that up. And so, of course, they tried to target him, and here we are. But at the end of the day, he has come out and stated he tried to partner up with the league. So it wasn't like he was trying to be a competitor to them from the jump. He actually was trying to have it like, hey, let's partner up. But here we are, all because he didn't want to give up a piece of his ownership.
Facts. They're bullies. They're always going to be the big bully. I think it just shows like the power of that green machine money that they like to use. And because like Cube has constantly said, Cube has always been trying to partner and work with whoever he can come up with an idea. And it's just like, but the bigger thing of it, it just shows me how the NBA continues to treat their vets who are not in that good old boys club. And like, because you got a lot of it was one point in time they were trying to fight for like certain healthcare insurance for a lot of the
I was just about to say that.
The former players, and the NBA wasn't really trying to be on part of that. And you have a lot of things that happens no different than certain things with the NFL with these leagues, but with the NBA, where I'm one of the that's my favorite sport. It's to me still one of the best sports. That's just me. I love basketball, but like it's heartbreaking because it can be a really healthy partnership, because there's a lot of vets who get the NBA I'm everywhere right now, but let me say it this way: the NBA is trying to expand because you have so many good players that you can't even put on a roster right now, and more importantly, you have a lot of veterans who end up forced out of the league because, i.e., a Boogie Cousins, like who could still play, but you don't, because he doesn't fit whatever narrative that you want or whatever's going on with these teams. And it could be other stuff where we don't know with Boogie. I'm just going to use him as an example. And matter of fact, let me take Boogie off, and I'm going to pick up a John Wall who can still be on the team and play, but the NBA doesn't want to do that, and they're always going to be the bully. And what I love about this is because they try to act like they don't do things like this, and now they're going to get exposed. And I love the fact that Jaylen Brown went and played in the big three. I thought that was like a phenomenal move, and I thought that was going to be the chance to bridge the gap. But the powers that be with the NBA, if they're not making no money, that's why that is why I'm for player empowerment. I know it can go a little extreme. I know it can be a little bit too much, but for the most part, I want to see some of my favorite older players go to the big three and play. I just think when I do catch a game, I think it's dope. I think it's competitive. Sometimes it's corny, but it's still good to see like, oh, yo, he's still, especially Joe Johnson when he was cooking that one. Yeah, oh, man. So like, it's still
Iverson played in the big three.
He played for like a couple of games, and he was like, "Nah, I'm cool." When
it first started, like to kind of get it going, he was one of those guys. Yeah.
And then what's the name? Jason Williams, nigga, blew out his knee. He was like, "I'm done." He said, "Yeah, nah, brother." Because like to kind of piggyback off the insurance thing, I don't think they had like the insurance to pay for a lot of these dudes who would end up getting injuries. I think, either they had insurance or the insurance wasn't enough. I can't recall, so don't like fact check me. But I mean, you can fact check me on the insurance part, but the coverage, I'm not sure. That and like I think these dudes are still like being paid. Some of these dudes who are coming into the big three are still being paid by the NBA from their contracts. So that could be
no longer an employee though.
Well, with and again, I'm not really sure how that really works with the NBA, because if a team is still paying you, like I'm just gonna give an example, like how Luol Deng was being paid damn near 5 years after he was out the league by the Lakers.
Kevin Garnett still get paid.
Yeah, Kevin Garnett. You see what I'm saying? So like them playing for another organization who isn't who. Like, I don't know. 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 who isn't by the NBA and like nothing about the NBA is part of them, and you're being paid again by that organization. If I'm a business, I'm looking at, okay, nigga, why am I still paying you? Like what as a team, like what's whether we're still in contract or not, like would this be a part of breach of contract for playing for another organization that isn't the NBA?
That's a good point. I would like to see it just based on the fact that, because just to give a counter argument is because they let them go overseas and play. So I'm like, that's the only. But it's a really good point. I just want to. I would like to see the ins and outs of the contracts.
When they go overseas and play, are their contracts up?
Not necessarily.
I mean, there still can be property like Luka. Yeah. He got drafted by the Dallas Mavericks, but he still played another season in his hometown before he came over and played at the NBA. They retained his rights.
Maybe that's they retained Tony Kukoc back in the day. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You said what?
I was saying Tony Kukoc back in the day as well. Kalen brought up Luka. That happened to Tony Kukoc as well. He was going to make more money still playing in Europe, but the Bulls had already drafted him. So
isn't that like maybe like a European league stipulation and not an NBA stipulation?
It could be. It depends if they have like what's called a non-compete agreement. So if they have like a non-compete, then like maybe. But I think that's where going to Ice Cube standpoint. So let's say like hypothetically, you take who's somebody right now that I'm gonna use Luka because it's easy to go with Luka. It's like so Luka. When he was younger, they had it in place, but then you just had like the pre-Olympics thing. So like that's why I say I would love to see the ins and outs of those contracts to see like what is valuable to play. Because let's take the NBA, let's take European leagues out of the equation.
Wait. Yeah, I would get that if a lot of the players weren't European. What about
the Drew League?
These are like a lot of American players who are still being paid by the NBA who are going into another situation. So I'm like, I guess what I'm asking is like, what's the difference between, because obviously as a European player, it looks like you're going to have to play out whatever contract you have with that European team. But when it comes to American players, it looks a little different because American players, from what I've seen, from what I understand, like their contracts are played out. They can't then come back. They can't then go play in Europe and then come back to the same team. I don't think this really happened, has it?
Are you talking about in regards to FIBA, like the Olympics?
No, I'm just talking. No, I'm talking about just like so. Most like I'm gonna say I give an old school player, Kendall Gill. Everybody knows him, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when Kendall Gill was done with the Sonics, am I tripping? It's been a while.
No, I think it was Sonics.
Hornets.
Was it the Hornets?
He was somewhere. I don't know where.
He was with the Nets too. I mean, he
was with the Nets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but what? Okay, so I'll say Kendall Gill. So once he left, he was actually shipped out of seas. But I don't think he was still under contract with anybody. Same thing with like and I'm bringing it to new age now. Like,
so I think that's the difference between restricted free agent and unrestricted free agency. And I think unrestricted is that your contract is completely expired. You're no longer under any contract. You're unrestricted. You can do what you want. Now, restricted free agency, you can shop around, but we still retain the rights, and we can match any offer. And if we match the offer, then we retain your rights. So you can go out there and shop around, but if we want you, all we got to do is match whatever offer you got, and we retain you.
What restricted agent is going out of country, though?
I don't think.
I mean,
none.
I don't know.
But I wouldn't say I'll take the country out the way because like the best way I could say is I don't think a lot of, because we don't know their contracts, I don't think they have a lot of non-competes. And the reason I say that is because I'm thinking about the Drew Leagues, I'm thinking about Rucker, and they'll compete in those areas. And I'm thinking about like Jaylen Brown just literally played in the Big Three and there was no issue. And so I think I think it's just depending what's in their contracts if they have that.
Yeah, and the contracts are dependent upon the NBA season.
Yes.
So when they go play in those leagues, they're playing in July, August. The NBA season's not going on, so they're not technically under contract. It's once you hit training camp to
right.
Whenever you finish in the playoffs or the championship, then that's it. Then you don't get same thing with the NFL. That's why they be like, save your chips during the NFL season, because come January, February through August, you're not getting paid. And so, you know, I think it's this same concept as well. So like when they play in those leagues, they're not technically in the NBA during those 2 or 3 months.
That's it. Yes, that's it. Yeah, because it's like, so because they always play in summer league basketball somewhere. So that's what I kept. Right. That's what it is. Summer league basketball. I could not think of what it's called. Summer league basketball.
So why would the NBA be coming after these guys if they're not technically in
money?
Because it's a black-owned league. You know, that they always talk about. If LeBron and all the top players went and started their own league, everybody would follow. Because that's the reality. And if they have an example, that's one thing about black people. We talked on the HL podcast, we talked about the Black Einstein yesterday. Mm-hmm. We talked about why the people like this don't get to shine, because they don't want us to know that that's possible for us. Because the moment that we know that it's possible for us, we're going to go chase it down and achieve it.
Talk about it.
They don't want the Black Man League to succeed, because then we know that we can go and start our own leagues and go get the sponsors that the NBA gets, and we can go do it ourselves with our own money.
What
Kobe, is this the new Negro League?
What is Kobe was about to do with China?
Man.
And they don't want us to know that. So that's why they shutting down the sponsors. Like, nah, y'all sponsor that. Y'all can't deal with the NBA.
Hey, what J. Cole shed light on when he was doing that whole, like, was it the African League?
Yeah.
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 Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But wait a minute. It's like, is this like, this gives me that, like, just what politics was saying, like, wait, is this the Negro League type when you think about it, like back in the day, like the modern day, like how, like when you really think, because it's man, like, bruh, like when you think about it, I was there, but I wasn't there. Like, wait a minute.
No, to your point about, like, we've seen examples of this. The ABA, you know, was a competitor of the NBA.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
And look what happened. Like, ultimately, you know, they could, So yeah, we've seen examples. You're absolutely right. The Negro League to the MLB, NFL, the XFL, and all those with the NFL. We've seen it. When you go against those top.
When we talk about the G League, you remember the Big Baller League? LeVar Ball started that league, and they stole the whole idea and took the D League.
They did,
and turned it into the G League, and took LeVar Ball's whole thing and whole process and implemented and made that the developmental league, because they didn't want the black man to have that league neither. So the NBA has been doing this shit to black men that try to start a league, whether it's before they get to the NBA or after they get to leave the NBA. The NBA, like, nope, don't touch none of our product.
Unless we can get a piece.
Unless we can get a piece. Like,
that's pretty much, I'm sure, what they said to Ice Cube. Unless we can get a piece. But he said no. Good for him.
So why? So you guys saying that? So do you think the Drew League and the NBA are in cahoots, because the Drew League and the NBA and NBA players have been playing since even before Kobe?
I think that dollar circulates. I think so. I'm gonna say it this way without, getting myself in too much trouble, because the best I can, like, try to dumb it down and compare it to for myself to really, because, like, now that everybody's speaking on it, it reminds me of a certain company who I know, I'm gonna say it like that. They have a tendency to, Amrock makes a product, and then the company likes the product, and then they'll buy it. Amrock is there for a year, they buy him out, and then the company advertises as their product. So, and that is how this company is known to make certain, they just buy everybody out. Like, a prime example is the company recently, when COVID hit, they bought out, you remember how everything, what was it? Zoom. So they went against the grain and had their own version of that. Now they're stepping away from that version of it, doing mass layoffs on certain things to have their own thing. So that's how the NBA works. It's just like, I don't think they have I think there's certain agreements with the Drew League, but Drew League gets a lot of their stuff from, like, Nike, those who is the who is the devil behind the devil, like the Nikes, the Adidas, and everything else, because we can't like I can't remember who Drew Lee's biggest sponsor is, but they make their money off of that, and I do think the NBA finds a way to get their coin off it. But I think to what everybody is saying is just like the NCAA. It's like for years they should have been paying players, they didn't pay the players, and now all of a sudden we're in this player empowerment era. But where now most of the people don't want to leave college because they're like, I make more in college, especially the female basketball players. They're like, why would I go to the WNBA? I make more money playing in college. Like, what's the old girl from LSU? I can't even think of her name.
Angel Reese.
Yeah.
Yep. She said, I make a meal just staying here in college. Why would I go play in the WNBA? And you know what I'm saying? But that's the NBA. They find a way, even when you look at their contracts when it comes to the what'd you say?
Same with that USC quarterback. What's his name?
Bro, he needs to leave.
You know what? I'm gonna stay one more year.
Please don't. Please leave.
Shador making like Shador Sanders making like 4.5. He leading everybody in NIL million.
Yep. They getting paid. Even if you look at the killer of the league, how they do it, the NBA, look how the franchises are shaped. Because they do that shared it's a correct term I'm about to mess up, but it's like they like share the money where the top franchises like the Knicks, the Lakers, even out of Clippers and under that, like they get penalized because the Hornets ain't getting ticket sales and the Hornets players want to go play for the Clippers or the Warriors or like in a bigger market. So the bigger market teams are getting penalized for bringing in the product. So that's just the NBA. The NBA has been a devil. Like
real quick, Caleb, real quick to your point, Devontae.
Last point.
Yeah, real quick. They, those companies understand ownership and intellectual property, as I'm sure Ice Cube does. Okay, that's and those people that probably gave up those products didn't understand that, didn't get a lawyer and say, hey, I got this product, my company's trying to buy, but it's a whole thing that these companies understand. And I'm sure Ice Cube ran through those numbers and ran through, hey, we can be successful. I'm not going to give up this ownership to the NBA because of that.
All right,
what happened to the Rucker?
Let's get to this last topic, man. So the presidential candidacy, we had 15 Republicans, and we're starting to see them drop out. And as they drop out, the next thing we're going to wait for is their endorsement. Well, Mike Pence, vice president to Trump, has officially dropped out of his. He hasn't said he has dropped out. He said he's suspending his campaign. He hasn't endorsed Trump. He hasn't endorsed DeSantis, but definitely when he officially drops out of the race, he's going to have to endorse Trump or DeSantis. Trump is already out speaking, saying, hey, he's my vice president. He should endorse me. He already knows what I stand for. That's why he chose to be my vice president. But DeSantis is looking to get a surge, and like Amrock brought up multiple times on this podcast, this is exactly how it's gonna go. And we caught all this shit. And Mike Pence don't want to say DeSantis yet, but he definitely ain't gonna say Trump. So what are y'all thoughts on Mike Pence dropping out? Amrock, let's hear what you got to say first.
Again, people, thank you, Caleb, for pointing that out. This is Dos Santos' race to lose, okay? And I'm talking the presidential race at this point. The Democrats, let's just talk about the Democrats really quick. Since we're breaking down political parties, right? Since we have to, because that's where this country is with their shit. When we're talking about the Democrats, they have no viable candidates. Like Caleb has pointed out numerous times, Joe Biden's approval rating is dropping. Where is Kamala? Is that her name? Kamala.
Yeah.
Kamala. Yeah. Where is she? Nobody knows. There's still ABB out on her. And so they don't have they don't have nobody that's really next up, right? Nancy Pelosi doesn't want it. Cory Booker is, we're close, right? Whoever else you want to throw in the mix, they're not even close. Dos Santos has been gaining traction. He has been trying to please both sides. You know, hey, white people taking away African American history or Black history out of education, and then also flipping in and saying, hey, you know, well, we're also gonna give pedophiles the death penalty, and then Black people are like, oh yay, you know. But you know, again, you have to know the game that they're playing. Give you a little bit, take it away. You know, we'll give you this, but you know, we're gonna get this back over here, right? And so DeSantis is playing the political game. Pence, who at this point, whoever's dropping out, got word that, hey, you're not going to be in the race. This other person or other two people will be. In all likelihood, it's going to be Trump and DeSantis. And so, you know, Pence ultimately got word and said, hey, you know, I'm out before I spend any money. Because, by the way, these political campaigns, you have to spend a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And so before I spend any more money, you know, endorsing my political campaign, you know, let me just go ahead and drop out and put the money with either DeSantis or Trump. And he's not going to do that right now because he's smart, because we don't know exactly yet what's going to happen with Donald Trump. Now, I think he's going to jail. No, I think he'll find a way to beat this RICO in some dramatic fashion or whatever. But at the end of the day, DeSantis is the threat, has been the threat. He's playing the political game. He's doing it, you know, slowly but surely, a little bit, you know, being a little bit quiet as of recently. But yeah, I think the man knows what he's doing. And you know, hey, it's, you know, it is what it is. This is the America that we're in. Somebody's going to win this race. And yeah, I mean, everybody's got to start paying attention, because if Biden is the Democratic nominee, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know.
The world's fucked.
It really is, though.
I don't think he's beating DeSantis, man.
No, he's not beating Trump.
I think he'll beat Trump again. I think he'll beat Trump again. I don't think he'll beat DeSantis.
It's too many delusional people in the world, and like, and I mean on both sides. Joe Biden is a fucking idiot. I don't think anybody we have. Yeah, he's in. Yeah, Mike Pence. Come on, man. Like, we knew his goofy ass wasn't gonna fucking win. Like, come on, bro. Like, bro, he was the most silent, probably the most silent vice president of any VP in least in my time of understanding fucking this whole bullshit presidential shit. But yeah, bro, he wasn't about to win over Trump or over DeSantis. DeSantis has the vote of white folks, and then racist folks. He has, and that's a pretty large percent of America. Unfortunately, it is what it is. And then you got people who vote on the other side looking like, you know what, I don't even see the two evils. Like, bro, Democrats is a bunch of idiots. The Republicans are in fucking shambles. They literally show it every day. So, bro, I mean, you know what? Hey, you know what? Let's get some more chaos. Bring on DeSantis. Bring on more. Open up more races. Let's see what happens. Roll the dice.
Yeah. Yeah, I think as far as Pence, like Amber called it a while ago, so they're all just going to start dropping like flies, because we know who it's set up for. As far as his endorsement, just to kind of how he hasn't picked one, he's picked one. He just hasn't publicly said it yet, because he's waiting for the moment to say it. The snake is always going to pick a snake, and he has two snakes to choose from.
Now, hold on right there, though. What Amrock was telling you and alluding to is that Mike Pence doesn't have a say in this. The party told him, "Hey, you're done. Pack it up."
Sit your goofy ass down.
Say you're gonna get. The party's gonna decide. The party is gonna tell him who he's gonna endorse. He doesn't have a say in this, so he knows what the play is. They informed him, "Hey, this is the play. Drop out when the time comes. This is who you're gonna endorse." Wait for further instruction.
Yep. Pretty much. Like I said, Snake gonna endorse Snake. Snake knows what's going on. He's just trying to see this version of the snake, just trying to see what piece of the pie he gets to get out of it, if he gets anything. And I think it is what it is. I just think that it is. I don't really know a lot like I would say when it comes to it, because we as the people, I still wish that we had a more people friendly candidate. I mean, I like Dr. Cornel West personally, but
yeah, definitely agree with that.
For
yeah, but like
yes,
one can dream and hope.
Cornel
That's
West.
who I will be voting for personally. If I normally don't ever say who I voted for, but like in this particular thing, once I found out he was in it, like I've always looked up and admired him. But for the most part, I just think that it sucks, man. I think it just sucks for us as people. It sucks because like we have to go through this shit show every 4 years with this shit, and like. Mm-hmm. And it's like it gets old, man. It just really gets old because we as a people. The reason I say it is because I do think voting. I'm gonna say it and contradict myself. I do think voting is good, but I think it devalues the vote when you make the people feel like their vote don't matter, and it started to continue to feel like that. But we need. I'm hoping whatever Dr. West does, like. Whoever our candidate needs to be. I'm talking about the people's candidate, like whoever he can spark to be like, you know what, that next generation come up, just like we was talking about ball earlier, as far as like the new generation of basketball players. I'm hoping the next generation of politicians is somebody that us as a people can be like, damn, that's a breath of fresh air. We finally got a candidate, like I fuck with him, like, because I know, and I think we deserve that. No more of this shit show. I do think Trump gonna come out strong because that man, he gonna beat his case, and when he gonna beat his case, I need everybody to find out get Trump's lawyer, because that's the only way you beating that case. Yep. That man about to resurrect. But like, look, that's all I got to say on it. But once again, I'm hoping whatever Dr. West does, it sparks whatever I feel in my heart is about to happen. Like I feel like a change is coming. I feel like it is coming. It is right there, because I know that brother at his age didn't decide to do it for no reason, and I see how they're already trying to crucify him and like trying to like make him seem crazy and everything. I was like, oh, but when he was like the black person on your show, he was all good, but now he crazy. So I love it. I love him shaking it up, and I'm just hoping that whoever after that carries the torch.
So how we got here, if you look at both sides, so the Democrats, they ran Obama, they won, they got 8 years with Obama. If you remember, Hillary Clinton was before Obama came out of nowhere, Hillary Clinton was the party's person. So of course, right after Obama, who do they want to run? They want to run Hillary Clinton. But guess what? She got a private server that got hacked by the Russians, and she should be going to jail. But no, Obama pardons her and endorses her to run for presidency. So she runs. So because she has Obama's backing, the Republican Party has no one to run against her. And they like, man, they're in shambles. So Donald Trump decides, hey, I'm going to run. And he wasn't even part of the Republican Party. The Republican Party kind of piggybacked him and chose him as a popular option because they had no candidate, and Hillary was just going to walk into the presidency. But because she had got pardoned, and because she was supposed to be in jail while she running for president, when they trying to do all this shit to Trump, Hillary should have been in jail for treason. She should have been in a traitor jail. She should have been in there with the man back to the what happened. So then the Democrats didn't have nobody to run. So then guess what? Joe Biden's like, I'm gonna run, because they can't run Hillary again. So Joe Biden's like, I'm gonna run. But guess what? Obama like, I don't think that's a good idea. You too old. Obama wouldn't even endorse him. But he ends up running and gaining some traction because COVID hits and Trump numbers hit the dirt. So now they're like, okay, here's our opportunity. And they throw Kamala on there to get the black people to vote for Joe Biden. They send him on this tour. He on the Breakfast Club. When the first time you ever seen a Democrat on the Breakfast Club? trying to run for presidency.
Hillary.
Like, man, they did that shit, and now we over here with the Republicans. They had nobody, so they just threw Trump out there as a Hail Mary, but then they can't control him. But now he done took half of their party, and now they like, man, we either gonna have to unify or we gonna lose the whole damn thing to the Democrats, and the Democrats gonna control the House, the Senate, the Supreme Court, the Department of Justice. They're gonna control the whole damn thing, and then you see what they doing. They attacking their political opponents and locking them up. That's why Trump is in his damn RICO case in the first place. So everything that we see here all has to do with two parties trying to fuck each other over, and it's all a bunch of bullshit, man. Let's get some shout outs before we get up out of here.
Fuck the Niners. Fuck the Eagles. And I hope the Bulls have a decent season. I hope we don't trade DeMar DeRozan. Looks like we're probably gonna give up Levine pretty soon here.
Just talking about him to the Sixers.
Going to
Yeah, he's
Philly.
probably I'm pretty sure he's gonna go somewhere in the East. Yeah, fuck Reisendorf. We're good.
Man, always like to start out. Shout out to y'all, man. I'm always glad when I can get the time to be on here and just vibe and connect with y'all. I'm excited. Next week, I believe it's next week. I get to rock with Amrock, I think, on that one.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that. As I get to learn y'all, as you know what I'm saying, as brothers and just men, it is always just enlightening and just it just blesses my soul. Shout out to my brother. I know he was when I did talk to him, he's like, man, you gonna make it and I ain't gonna be there. It's like, yeah, I still try to hold it down. You know, I ain't got the craziness that he be saying, but next time I'll say something off the wall that my brother would say. But other than that, man, I appreciate y'all, man. I always appreciate being on here, and shout out to all the other brothers who are watching this, and I just have an amazing week and just be blessed.
Amen.
Yeah, shout out to PolitiKan Podcast as always. It's always great to be on this platform. Guest HL Podcast, Caitlin was on last night. Greatly appreciated, brother. That episode is up right now on YouTube. Devontae, yes, he will be on this. What is that? The 7th. The 7th. So yeah, excited about that episode as well. I know Eugene. I know you're gonna be on later on. Is it November or December? So yeah, it's just great to have you guys on. I greatly appreciate it. Hey man, look, I'm not gonna go as far as say fuck the Cowboys, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see how this game go. It's in Philly. The defending NFC champions. So we'll see. But yeah, definitely. Hey, Zach LaVine to the Lakers.
Let's go.
Let's go. God, not man. Please
Let's go.
I'm tired of the Lakers doing shit.
Whoa,
man.
You tired of the Lakers.
You just got James Harden.
The Clippers just signed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. People, they just signed Serena Williams. Okay,
let LeBron get his last 2 rings.
The Clippers said we need all the top athletes.
You kept all your team. Don't trade them now.
All this to stop a 40-year-old man. All this to stop a 40-year-old man.
Wow.
Keep your whole team. Don't trade them now, man. That's what I'm saying. but I appreciate all y'all brothers coming on the pod, man. Another week, PolitiKan the podcast. A lot of the shit we talk about, it come to fruition, just like James Harden. I've been called that one. As soon as it came out, I was like, yep, we gonna get him. We just playing hardball because we gonna wait and get him for the cheaper price. And we got him out of there, and none of the players we gave up really affects our rotation like that. So
that's a lie.
I think it was a genius play, man. But shout out to y'all brothers, man, coming on. Man, we got to get to it, man. I got a new studio I got to get going. I've been sitting back trying to rework the business plan. A lot of shit you deal with life, you deal with COVID happened. A lot of shit happened, and we just kind of went with the flow. And now that, you know what I'm saying, we built the community that we're looking for. Now it's just about, capitalizing off of it, bringing it all together and making it make sense. And one thing that I was saying to the homie the other day is, look, I got a business plan. You got a business plan. He got a business plan. Why everybody got a business plan and then we collaborate together, but why we don't have a business plan that encompasses all our business plans? Why can't we be like, this is what I need and this is what I need, and lay it out on the table so that we can have a true understanding of where people strengths are and what people lack, so that we can actually help each other climb this ladder. True collaboration, we really have to get down to the nitty gritty and say, what is the end game for you, so that we can understand what we can do to help each other get there, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm on. We got to sit down at the table. We got to really figure this out, and we got to be, intentional and deliberate at what you want out of this life. You know what I'm saying? And that's for real. Like, one thing, as black men, we kind of get thrown to the wolves at like 16 or 18. We're considered this man, and we're supposed to have knowledge of self and be able to take care of ourselves and raise families and do all of this. And this weight is on us almost immediately. So when we finally come into our own, when we learn who we are for real, it's about, man, applying that and being the man that you really are supposed to be out here in this life. I don't know what y'all gonna do with y'all life, but I'm gonna get to it, man. PolitiKan the podcast. We out.
You want to stop me? You're gonna have to fucking kill me!
Smoking Dank Sinatra, that's all gas. On the hunt in the tall grass. Intercepting every ball pass, then I run it back, that's a TD. Check the scoreboard, y'all last. We up one, you see me. Pussy niggas wanna talk about it, go to Hellcat, no demon. I be politicking on your broadcast at the red carpet like the famous homie. Ask your bitch, really famous homie, and you know it's in me. It ain't on me. So creative like I made Adobe.